No time for humor today, guys, as the matter at hand is an extremely serious one. As you all know, New Zealand have withdrawn from their limited overs tour of Pakistan at the 11th hour, and in this video I'll be talking about what impact this has on Pakistan cricket and the PCB, what my own personal thoughts are on everything that has unfolded, and finally, where does Pakistan cricket go from here on this volume of CRIQAZI Diaries.
Have a look at that, miles up, oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went like a rocket. Well, wicket 24.
It would be an understatement to say that the last 36 hours or so have been a roller coaster of emotions, and I myself had to take some time to just process all of this information before I can make a video for you guys talking about everything that went down and how I feel about it and where Pakistan cricket should go from here as objectively as possible. I'll start off by talking about the impact that this decision by New Zealand's cricket board has had or will have on the PCB and Pakistan cricket, and it's multifaceted really. Firstly, of course, there is going to be a lack of game time for Pakistan cricket now going into the T20 World Cup, which is only a little over a month away, and Pakistan had 7 T20 internationals lined up before the World Cup at home, and now potentially we're looking at 0. So that is a massive impact on its own, but it's not even the biggest one that I'm going to talk about over here. Next, I'd like to touch upon the financial aspect of things, which is very important because so much money had already been pumped into making sure that this series goes underway without incident, and that includes presidential security that was being provided to the New Zealand contingent, which obviously does not come cheap. Then you have all of the hotel expenses and any sort of expense that was related to taking care of the well-being of the visiting team. And then finally, marketing. So many advertisements had already been created, posters had been printed, there was so much hype and buzz going around, and all of that loss is now PCB will have to bear the brunt of it. Also, not to forget all of the potential revenue that was set to be generated as a result of this series. So I really feel for the PCB, they've been dealt an extremely cruel hand over here because they did everything that they could possibly do. They were providing presidential level security, and then they had the precedent of successfully carrying out international tours to Pakistan in the not too distant past. You have West Indies, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. All of those tours went by without incident, and all of that hard work that PCB had put in to getting Pakistan international cricket back on home soil, I feel like it's just taken a massive hit and we've gone back around 6 years. Which brings me to the third and most important loss that has been incurred by the PCB in Pakistan cricket, the fact that the country's image has now once again been tarnished and put under the scanner. Every other cricketing nation will now question before touring Pakistan, and their level of confidence is set to go down, and who's to say when the next international team will tour Pakistan? It's put everything under uncertainty. There's a massive cloud of uncertainty right now over Pakistan cricket, and all of that hard work since 2009 that was put into bringing Pakistan cricket back to home turf, it just seems like it's all been wasted, and that absolutely breaks my heart. It's absolutely shattered my heart into tiny pieces. And what this does as well is that it sets an extremely scary precedent for international cricket as a whole. The fact that a visiting team was on their host country's shows for about a week, they were going to practice every day in the same sort of security, and then they pulled out minutes before the toss of the first game, that is extremely terrifying for the international game. I mean, we've already seen it in the India-England series where India, albeit under different circumstances, they chose not to play the 5th test. This is happening all around now. And if we see other teams start pulling out of tours at the last minute like that, that is not good for the game financially and also commercially. No one will be hyped or excited for a tour, and there'll always be a certain amount of fear that, oh my god, will they pull out at the last minute? So it's a terrible tragedy, and I think the international game will definitely suffer as well. Okay, now let's take a step back. Let's try to look at this from New Zealand's perspective. They were alerted, or their government was alerted by an intelligence agency called Five Eyes, which includes 5 countries, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada, and the United States of America. They alerted the New Zealand government that the New Zealand cricket team is under threat, and if they exit the hotel, they could potentially be harmed. So what I don't understand over there is that, of course, I realize that player security is paramount. If it's coming under threat, then that comes first before any game. But why would you not share that intel with Pakistan and Pakistan's agencies? Of course, Pakistan would want to avert that threat or potentially eliminate it. And honestly, okay, I'll understand that you got the threat, you want to leave. But still, if you won't share the threat with Pakistan, that means that international cricket in Pakistan is still under threat, and Pakistani cricketers as well. Do their lives not matter? I mean, you have to share the intelligence so that Pakistan can get to the bottom of this and eliminate that threat, thwart that threat, to make sure that this does not happen in the future and that Pakistan can continue to host international teams for games of cricket. After collecting my thoughts, I have come to a point where, if there was a threat, New Zealand definitely deserved to leave. No player should play under these sort of circumstances. But the fact that this intel regarding this threat was not shared with Pakistani authorities, I think that is extremely selfish. You're only thinking about yourself, and once you go, you're out of danger. But what about the Pakistani players, and what about all of the other international teams that Pakistan plans on hosting? Do those lives not matter? Are they worth less than the New Zealand players' lives? This is the part that really baffles me, and I am generally not one for conspiracy theories. I only like to go on facts. But this just doesn't add up. I can't put 2 and 2 together over here. Why would they not share the details of this threat? And that just breeds a lot of mistrust. And I'm left dumbfounded as to why they would not share the details. And I think it's extremely selfish and it's unfair to Pakistan. I honestly can't even blame all of those Pakistanis that are thinking along the lines that this was some political game, because you have forced me to think along those lines as well. I don't want to, but I can't not consider it because of this mistrust that has been created. So yeah, it's extremely sad. Now, Ramiz Raja did tweet that he will see New Zealand at the ICC, and I'm not sure if there are any legal grounds over here on which PCB could take action against the New Zealand Cricket Board, because the New Zealand government is also involved. So I'm not sure, but if there are any legal grounds, I would definitely like to see a potential lawsuit over here, because the damage that is done has been irreparable and it really puts Pakistan cricket in jeopardy as a whole. As for where Pakistan cricket can go from here, well, it's not looking too bright, is it? They had 10 international games scheduled at home prior to the World T20, and that number has seemingly gone down to 0, because I'm not too confident that England will tour either for the 2 T20 internationals that they were scheduled for. And honestly, we haven't heard back from the ECB yet, but it's not looking too optimistic, and Pakistan cricket is once again on the down. We've taken a massive step back. And then also the fact that Pakistan was scheduled to host all of New Zealand, Australia and England for proper test series in the coming year. It's just put everything under uncertainty, and things are not looking on the up at all. But I'll tell you guys one thing, that Pakistan cricket has a habit of rising from the ashes in extremely adverse situations, way more adverse than the one that we're facing right now. So all we can really hope for is that Pakistan's team and all of the players, they use this energy of disappointment and frustration as motivation to galvanize themselves to push even harder in the World T20, which is only about a month away. And we've seen Pakistan do exactly this in the past. In that 10-11 year period where Pakistan had no home cricket, they won the World T20 in 2009. Misbah ul Haq lifted the Test mace in 2016, and then Pakistan won the Champions Trophy in 2017. So there is precedent for this. And when the chips are down, Pakistan cricket happens to bring out the best in themselves, and I really hope they can do that this time around as well. Of course, they are known as cornered tigers, and the tiger is very much cornered right now. So watch out, world, and don't be surprised if Pakistan end up lifting that trophy in the UAE and once again become champions of the world in the shortest format. If there's one adjective that is most aptly suited to Pakistan cricket, it's resilience. And if Pakistan cricket survived throughout all of those years in exile and actually thrived on a few occasions, I have no doubt that they will continue to do the same in the future. And to all my Pakistanis, my heart is as broken as yours, and I've been reeling. It's actually felt like somewhat of a breakup, but don't lose hope and back the boys in the T20 World Cup, and I'm sure they are hurting as well, and they will put that hurt and translate it into their performances and hopefully lift that trophy. That's it for today, folks. If you made it all the way to the end and listened to my rant, thank you very much. I'm honestly so mentally exhausted that I'm not even going to ask you to like and subscribe. If you want to do it anyway. If you don't want to, that's also fine. But that's all for today. Let's all just take a breather, process all of this information, but do not lose hope. That is my message to all of you. Keep believing in Pakistan cricket. I'll see you when I'll see you. Qazi off the mic.
Have a look at that, miles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat 6 right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went like a rocket.